Okay, so this is me, Mr. Pink and Yellow, and I'm with a Shield for Men. And
Hello.
so basically, the Pro Mill Collective has made a lot of progress. We're actually reaching our old peaks of 2020. Okay, when we had the Pink Pill Watch and we was like going into war with Reddit turfs and getting them cancelled and banned. Okay, so we've had a recent campaign against activists who sexualise baby, not into anti pro cutters who sexualise baby boys getting cut and get off on it, and we've managed to get them deplatformed and banned. And we've got lots of people reporting, and we're on Element reporting them. We're very active. There's more content makers than ever making content. The blog, the Promo Collective blog, is very active. There's like 3 contributors to it right now. Okay, which it's usually just one or two, right? Sometimes just one. Sometimes it's just me because I've done like 70% of the posts, right? So early on it was like a big mixture of people, okay, and in the middle it just sort of died out and it was mostly me with the odd guest article every now and again, and then recently it's 3 different people. So we're making progress, right? And I think this campaign is very
Yeah.
important.
Yes, it is very good that we can build up confidence in other people that we can actually change something for the better.
Yes,
Um, this is what these campaigns are also about,
yes,
right? It's about getting rid of these hateful propaganda sites from feminists and from abusers,
yes,
anti-male abusers, right? Pushing back against them.
yes,
But it's also about showing the world that positive change is actually possible.
yes.
Okay,
So
and it's actually sad that such sites are even allowed on a site like Reddit, right?
yes,
It is just blatant child abuse that is
yeah,
promoted there,
yes.
right?
It's
So
paedophilic.
it shows you that,
It's paedophilic.
yeah, it
I
shows you
can't.
that,
I'm going to say something as well. Just sorry to interrupt. We can't talk fully about what goes on in that subreddit. If I quote what they say, this video will get flagged, right? That's how bad it is. I can't say what they actually say in their Reddit. That YouTube will automatically flag it if I talk about it.
yeah,
So as you're saying, sorry.
but yeah, but yeah, it shows that the Reddit site is just administered by feminists
Yes,
who allow this abuse to run rampant on the site.
yes,
Yeah, it's a cesspool.
yes,
But yeah, um, the ProMed collective is rising again, and I think this is very good. It
yes,
also disproves a lot of this passive, black pill, fatalistic content,
yes,
right? I think men need to stop this nonsense. Like, we actually need to unveil the psychology behind this black pill, right? Because they basically say that, oh, it's the end of the world because men cannot find girlfriends anymore.
it's
That is
solipsism.
basically the
It's solipsism
yeah,
basically, and it's not that men can't find girlfriends anymore. It's I can't find a girlfriend, right? It's political. It's political solipsism. I can't find a girlfriend. The world must burn. And also, it's male hostile. They don't want to talk about collective action, not because it's just because they're solipsistic. They don't want to help other men. So them taking collective action that can help themselves might end up helping other men by accident, and they don't want that. So it's political solipsism and it's male hostility. I figured out the motive years ago. It was the same with MGTOW back in the day as well. That was political solipsism, right? It was political solipsism
yeah,
and a non sequitur. Like there's this discrimination against men, this and that. Therefore, I'm going my own way. It's a non sequitur. So yes, yes. So
yeah. And the thing about the black pill, even from a strategic standpoint, is that it leads absolutely nowhere. I
yes,
mean, the yes, I mean you should come to terms with reality. That is true, right? But when you're low status male, then most likely you will not have so much luck in the dating market. That is 100% true.
Yes.
But they don't even talk about status, they talk about looks, but whatever.
Yes.
But the thing is, when we actually advance man's rights, when we are proactive and take collective actions to advance man's rights, that will improve man's status and will actually get them the girl.
Well, it won't
So
get
this,
them. No, it'll get
this
some. No, no, no. Let's be clear. It won't get them the girl. It might get some men more chances to get the girl as a side effect,
yeah,
right? So
yeah, yeah,
there's always going to be low status men
yeah,
who can't get the girl, right? For whatever reason, it's just the way it's always has been like that. But there'll be more men who,
yeah,
like, so yeah. Yeah, and there's another
yeah,
problem with black. There's another problem with black pill as well. And it's the same problem in MGTOW. It's the same problem with POA. It's the same problem with red pill. Right? It's talking about relationships over and over again, and just raging out at how bad they are, and how hopeless they are, and how unfair they are, and women are sluts, and women are this, and women are that, cock carousel, body count, all this nonsense. Right? It's just the same. Like Sandman's been spamming videos about that for like I mean, 8 years now, every single fucking day. The same thing over and over again.
yeah,
It's bad optics as well. I don't even like letting them use like the max terminology. I don't even like that. Like looks maxing or wealth maxing or hag maxing. What other max? It's cringe as fuck. Basically, it's bad optics for us. We
yeah.
don't want to be associated with these people. So
And the thing is that um, when we compare man's rights to
yeah,
all these other groups get pushed by the algorithm. They get pushed
yeah,
by the media. They get publicity. Man's rights get uh, swept under the rug largely,
yes,
and that is because man's rights is actually dangerous
yes,
to feminism. It's actually effective. It actually gets shit done.
yes,
Unlike these whatever podcasts and Fresh and Fit and
yes, yes.
Black Pill and all this other
They're,
nonsense.
they're allowed to stand and thrive in the algorithm. Like just Pearly Things is allowed to
Yeah,
thrive in the algorithm. Okay, we're not. Like the Pink Pill Watch, we were absolutely wrecking feminists. It's when I did practice security culture in the Discord group, right? Because I didn't know that Discord was controlled by feminists. Because I only heard of right wing groups getting banned, right? Like Nazis and stuff like that. I didn't know much about it. So I did have security culture and I was just like inviting people in. And it was actually relatively easy to get even tradcons and anti-male people to report feminists, right? Because they hated feminists, okay? So it was easy to get them to report. And I had like 60 people, 50 people in the group within like under 2 weeks. And like I had like loads of active people as well. They were just reporting, right? And what ended up happening is it got falsely reported and got taken down. Okay, so an effective tactic was taken away from me because there's no point opening up a group and just having it reported falsely out of existence. Okay, and we had very strict rules: no borderline reporting of social media posts, no doxing or no stalking or harassing people, no contacting these feminists at all. Right, just report from the sidelines, get them banned, and get them deplatformed. Okay, and the people. This is a subreddit that was banned, and the ban was reversed, and they're protected. Banned female hate subs. They're the ones that smeared us, right, and lied about us. They just straight up accused us of harassing women and stalking women with no evidence. They did a public Google document, right, full of lies, right, about us, and then we got banned, okay, and that set us back big time. And so that group gone, boom, lost a lot of contacts. So the element, this is why element is very important. Okay, all programs are going to have a risk associated with it. Okay, element is not controlled by feminists, right? So it gets rid of a weakness. We can like get people in, right, and then we can start mass reporting again, which we've been doing. Okay, and if it, eventually, I want a group with 1,000 people in it, if that's possible. Just mass reporting feminists off social media and exposing them, and like even contacting online safety people, contacting the police, right? If any feminist like practices hate speech and they're in a country with a police force that like, loves to arrest people, right? Just get them arrested, even if they don't get charged. Getting them arrested will send a chilling effect to these feminists, right? If we can do it, this is what we need to do. We need to use teamwork, coordination. It's coordination, communication, right, leads to coordination, right? In war, coordination is the most effective force multiplier, okay? An army that's coordinated can smash an army 8 times bigger if it's made up of individuals and is not coordinated, right? They can focus on weak points and share information. We need just having loads of pro-male people making videos but not communicating all the time is not effective. If we're communicating all the time, we're 10 times more effective at least.
Yeah, and the MRAs in South Korea, they have actually shown us that this is possible.
Yeah.
The South Korean MRA movement, they have Discord groups. I heard like with 10,000 members.
All right,
Well,
I'm not in that one.
from what I heard.
No, I'm in one with 500 members, right? Okay, but it's very. I can't get into the main channel. I'm only in the announcement channels, but it seems very active, right? From what I can see, you got to understand. It's the biggest single issue MRA subreddit, not just MRA Discord. It's the biggest single issue. No. The biggest single country men's rights group, right? By far. Nothing else
Yeah.
compares.
Yeah.
Nothing else compares. It's all the same country, and they're far, and there is a lot of right wing talk and there's a lot of anti-communist nonsense, but they're still far more evolved than the average anti-feminist in the West, right? They seem to take the feminist threat far more seriously than the average anti-feminist in the West does. They do laugh at them, but they do talk about how dangerous they are as well. Too.
Yeah,
Yes.
and they're lobbying politicians over
Yes.
there as well,
Yes.
and even politicians attend their rallies and stuff like that. That is awesome.
And they even have an
I
app.
mean,
They have like an app on Google, right? They've got an app.
Yeah.
They've got a fucking app. Look, in the Western MRI, what Western people do, they just raise money and do nothing with it, or just steal it, or like there was like these like MGTOW homeless shelters. Oh, fund this homeless shelter I'm getting for men. I'm going to buy this land with it. And what they do, they just pocket the money and get a new wife. It's happened like twice at least, right? And so like fixed individual acts of charity are not going to work. We have to like campaign to fix things systematically, right? It's not up to us to make men's shelters, right? It's up to us to get the government to fund them and make them for us, and then we can run them. Okay, El Silberman
Yeah.
tried the do-it-yourself route. He bankrupted himself and he ended up killing himself, right? So, yeah,
Yeah, and the thing about offline activism is how can you advance offline activism if there's not even online activism really going on,
yes.
right? It's like, oh yes, standing around in a park with 10 people and holding up a sign or something. What is that going to do?
Well, I get blocked by mainstream MRAs all the time on Twitter. I've talked to them a little bit. They seem interested, and then they start accusing me of being a radical and of hate, especially in a non-sequitur manner. They'll just accuse me of hating women, having issues with women, and then they'll block me. So they're fucking clowns, right? Unfortunately, that's a big problem as well. They're not interested, right? They're just not. And they do the same milk toast, failed, meek, mild approach, false framing approach. They always question, is feminism really for equality in the mildest manner possible? And it's like, we should be long past that point. No, we should completely reject the feminist equality narrative. Feminists are against equality. They're a female supremacist movement. We've got to start asking the question if they're for equality or not. Right? They have this rhetorical
Yeah.
and they actually told me, oh no, you can't drive feminists away. You've got to convince them. Like, what the fuck? What the fuck? What the fuck? Come on, man. Come on, Jesus Christ. Bloody hell. It's just
Yeah, and
yeah.
yeah, and I mean I don't know how much evidence we need to show them. Like, it's self-evident at this point
I've never
that
said
feminism.
I've never said a majority of women hate men, right? Because I don't have the evidence for it, and I don't believe that's actually true. Okay, what I've said is a minority of women hate men, like 20%, which is large still, but I think it is 20%, and the rest of the 80% are just indifferent and don't really care that much either way, right? And those 8% who are indifferent will still pocket female privileges, right? Gladly. So it doesn't
Yeah,
matter. It
yeah.
doesn't matter. Yes.
I'm not sure. I'm not sure if it's 20%. I think it's probably higher, but
Yes.
whatever.
It could
That
be.
is that is
I'm telling you,
debatable.
it could be. Even if it's 5% and the rest of the 95% are indifferent, it's still the same effect, right? It doesn't matter. A small determined minority can shape society. So the fact the rest are indifferent shows that, so, and hatred is a spectrum. The indifferent spectrum could just be callousness, right, and a lack of concern. But when I say 20% hate, I mean 20% hate, absolutely fucking lividly hate, right? That's what I mean, like full on
Yeah,
hate in the spectrum. So that's actually quite high. That's shockingly high. I don't think even 1% of men hate women, right? Not even 1%.
yeah,
Yeah, right, right.
yeah. And I think that if women are confronted with men's issues, then the mask drops basically. But if you don't do that, then they don't really care. They don't think about it probably.
Yes.
But that's just speculation.
No, well, the thing is, the feminists try and block men's issues. They're very aware of it. They're trying to keep the lid on it. Like on the International Men's Day recently, there was lots of fake feminist men's advocacy groups, basically. But they're framing the issue of like men needing to do more for women on International Women's Day. They're trying to hijack it, right? There's like at least one. There's
Yeah.
yeah. So they're keeping a lid of it. They're keeping a lid on it for sure. They're aware of it. They're monitoring us. They're banning. I'm going to say something else as well. This is very important. I've been contacted by a survey group who are doing a survey for Ofcom in the UK, media regulation group. Okay, and they want to do a question. They want to do an anonymous interview with me. I'm going to do it. I don't give a shit. They're going to do an anonymous interview with me about. I'm more doing it to try and figure them out than anything. Okay, they're going to do an anonymous interview with me, and they're interviewing Manosphere and the MRA types for Ofcom, a media regulator. Okay, this is what they told me.
Okay.
They're an independent company doing it for them. Do you know what that means?
Uh, no, tell me.
It's very very obvious. They're going to crack down on men's issues in the UK, on the internet. So they're doing the research as a pretext
Yeah.
first. That's what's going to happen. They're preparing the way. They admitted they're worried about manosphere extremism, basically, right?
Yeah. They made misogyny a hate crime in the UK
Yes,
recently, didn't they?
yes. Misogyny is a hate crime. Yeah, it's classed with terrorism. It's on par with terrorism. So yeah, so
That is some.
yeah. There's going to be a crackdown coming. Right, that's the narrative. And the thing is that the survey team seems to think the Manosphere and the Red Pill and MGTOW are part of the MRA as well. Okay, they're conflating at them, which is really bad fucking news. The most useless, the most toxic, the most bad optics, the idiots are going to say stupid things that they can screenshot. They're considered the men's rights movement. The nutcases who talk about dating and the bringing back the family and stuff like that, right? They're the men's rights movement. You see how bad this is?
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. There was like uh, the the Jubilee
Yeah,
debate, and on the panel was Pearl Davis. So
yeah,
on the men's rights panel was
yeah,
the feminist. So obviously she doesn't belong on the men's rights
yes.
panel,
Well,
right? But the feminists have for decades linked men's rights to other groups or other individuals that have nothing to do with men's rights. For
yes,
example, when the Elliot Rodger incident happened
yes,
back in 2014, I think,
yes,
they said in the feminist media that he was an MRA, or that he was like part of the men's rights movement,
yes.
when this was not the case at all. He was never interested in men's rights,
It's
and
misinformation.
I studied his case.
Yeah, it's misinformation.
Yeah,
Yes, no, not
yeah,
misinformation is unintentional. It's disinformation. Disinformation is completely intentional, right? It's
yeah,
disinformation. Feminist
yeah,
yes, yes, yes. So we got
yeah. I mean, these manosphere types, they're the stooges of the feminist movement.
yeah,
Uh, I wouldn't even be surprised if the feminist movement has helped and set up some of these people.
yes, yes, yes. I won't be surprised at all. They These right wing idiots like to talk about useful idiots, right? It's projection. They're the useful idiots of the feminist movement.
Yeah.
Yeah. They say such stupid fucking things all the fucking time. Bloody hell! So things are going to get worse in the UK. Before, they're not going to. They're not going to get better unless we make them get better, right? Okay. And yeah. So anyway, I want to talk about the Whisper Network because this is a very important topic, and I want to talk to you. I want to talk to you about it. And it is related to what we're talking about because we're an element, right? We want proactive men to join us and teamwork, network with us, and we've got to create. We've got to frame our ideology. We've got to distill our ideology. I think we've got to package our ideology, write our ideology down in ways that's easier to digest, so we can get people up to speed quicker. That's one of our weaknesses because I've noticed a lot of our insights are spread over in little bits and bobs. Are spread over our channels and blogs over the past 8 years. Okay, right. So it's quite difficult to get people up to speed on the core of our ideology. We're gonna have to work on that. That's gonna be something I'm gonna have to focus on. Okay, just to make so. But anyway, that aside, I want to talk about the Whisper Network because this is how women network and team up, right? And they do it far more effectively than men do. They're 100 times greater than men. Like recently, I'm not going to name who this. I'm going to name who the person is, but I'm not going to do any more videos on this person, right? Because I made an absolute fool out of him because he's a clown. The dating meat market, right? Okay, who's obsessed with dating and called me a black pillar, even though he believes in black pill looksism. Okay, I have to, as a man, I have to deal with incredible hostility from other men within the movement. Okay, or men claiming to be part of the movement. Women don't have to deal with this. Okay, the most hostility women have to deal with is when they're anti-feminists from feminist women. Okay, the most hostility I have to deal with is people within men's issues community. Right, they've been a bigger bane to me than feminists ever have been. And that's saying a lot because feminists have been a pain in my ass quite a bit. But the men's issues people, the manosphere types, the red pill types, the tradcon types, other pro male types, right? They've been a bigger burden and roadblock to me than the feminists have been. The enemy within is far worse than the enemy without. So
Yeah. The
so you
yeah
need to
the
stop.
dating obsession.
Sorry, I'll let you
The
finish.
dating obsession is something that has poisoned the men's rights movement or has poisoned men's spaces,
Yes.
right? Because men don't understand that obsessing over dating is not gonna work for them.
Mm-hmm.
It's not gonna advance anything for men.
Mm-hmm.
Not even dating itself,
Yes.
right? Because obsessing over dating is in itself not gonna get you status.
Yes.
I mean, unless you are like a influencer,
Yeah.
right, who sells coke to desperate men and who builds a following and status.
Yes.
But unless you're one of those bigger channels, then that's not gonna help you.
Yes, and also these people obsessed with dating because they're red pill types. It's very contradictory. So they talk about female nature and talk about female hypergamy. Then they talk about true submissive feminine women. That these feminine women have been brainwashed and tricked into being masculine or some sort of fucking nonsense like that. Female hypergamy strongly implies female social dominance. How can it be female hypergamy but a true submissive female nature? It doesn't make sense, right?
Yeah, yeah.
It's
It's if someone has the right to choose and to exclude and to
yeah,
gatekeep, then they are dominant,
yes,
right? It's like the employer
yeah,
who gets to choose who works for his company,
yeah,
right? That person is dominant.
yeah.
That person,
And a lot of employers fuck their employees about. What I found really irritating trying to get the jobs was the employees fuck you about and waste your time on purpose, out of spite, right? Just to show you who's fucking boss.
yeah,
They're so dishonest. Women do the same in dating as well. It's the same dynamic. But anyway, you need to scroll. You're in control of it. You need to scroll down the Whisper Network article and read it with me because I want to go through that. And I'm going to have to ask you a favour because I've got bad eyesight. Can you zoom in the text a little bit?
Wait a second.
Yeah.
Is that okay?
A bit more. I've got really bad eyesight. I wear glasses. Okay, that's fine. Right. So, this
Are
is.
we gonna read the whole thing because it's very, very, very long?
I think we should. Right, but we might let's just go through it, and if it feels redundant, we'll stop. I think we need to go through what's going on because it's weird how this has been memory hold. Actually, even like the culture war channels don't really talk about it this lot. They act like this didn't happen. Right, the odd channel might mention it, but this is the core cause of what's going on in the culture right now in media, in gaming, movies, and comics. Right, and comics are already dead, by the way. Like one of the most longest running comic shops in London has shut down recently. Right, it's gone now. I can't remember the name of it, but it's a very famous comic shop that's been open for decades. It's in central London. It's gone. It's gone. Right, the comic industry is dead. It's dead. It's dead. It's dead. Like people don't buy comics. They watch YouTube. A million people will watch YouTube recap videos on comics, but they won't read them. Right. The comic industry is dead, and the feminists accelerated the death even quicker and got rid of the comics. Might have survived without the feminist invasion, but the feminist invasion would have killed it. Right. It's dead. If you look at comics now, they're just really, really badly written. It's not even just it's feminist politics, but not even the feminist politics is a problem. Okay. There's lots of former creators who used to do good stuff, and it's really dumbed down and bad. And there's lots of talentless females and talentless people that the feminists like who are hired and make bad stories. It's dead. It's dead. And like you said, anime's on the way out as well because they're getting credit card companies to block them and censor them. Okay, so
yeah.
Anyway, let's read this. Many of the women promoting the cancellation of men in comics and demanding the post recent empty promises known as comics pledge are in fact hypocrites. In this article, I'm going to present evidence of lies, collusion, rumour spreading, and in my opinion, defamation and contract interference. So what that is actually, I consider that gang stalking, right? If you get online and you spread rumours about people, okay, that's gang stalking. If men were doing that against women, it would be called gang stalking and they'll be getting arrested, right? I personally know that they colluded for years to take down men. So this is targeted over identity, right? It's not for their political opinions, it's because they're men. Especially those with conservative politics and philosophies. No, left-wing men get targeted as well. This is an ongoing coordinated effort. How do I know this? Because I obtain access to their private Facebook group. So this is females networking. Okay, so we men can't network for their own rights correctly, but women can network out of spite, right? So
they are international and connected.
Yes. Well, the 4B movement is international. It started in South Korea and it blew up internationally, right? Okay, it's fucking amazing. Women are better politically than men. It's just that simple. This is part one, the hypocalypse leaks. Hypocritical. Oh, it's hypocritical and apocalypse. The hypocritical apocalypse leaks. It's fucking don't know how to pronounce that. This is simply too much to put in one leak, so I'll make the following 3 points for now. The so-called comic book whisper network, which has been dismissed as a conspiracy since 2016, is real, and I have hundreds of screenshots to prove it. So this is a very common tactic. It happened with Gamergate as well, and Elevator Gate. Okay, so there's feminist hostility in a male space, right? And the feminists will just gaslight and go, chill, you're seeing things, you're imagining things, you're being paranoid. Like the classic one was like, chill, we're not out to censor your games. That was very common in 2014 and 2015 and 16, right? And what's happening now? There's censorship all the time in games, right? All the time. Everything gets censored. So they'll just gaslight you and say, oh no, that's just conspiracy theory when it's absolutely true. And a lot of people telling you it's conspiracy theory are part of the conspiracy, ironically enough. Sorry, you speak.
Yeah, and they also bring in intersectional feminism into games.
Yeah.
Right, because they know that men will not like that.
Yes.
Or they want to to sort of mess with the originality of certain characters. Like, for example, in Near Automata,
Yeah.
they turn 2B into a trans woman.
Right.
And that was not originally her character.
Yeah.
So they're just doing that out of spite, because they know that men like to be, you know. So the intersectionalist strategy is just that. It's a strategy. They're not concerned about minorities.
I'm going to explain to you what their strategy is, because I'm going to do a video on this as well, because I've spoken about this before, but I think it needs an individual video. So intersectional feminism is not an ideology, in my opinion, because it's too vague and nebulous, right? It's a political strategy. It links minority issues to feminism in a non sequitur manner, right? Okay, complete, because women are not minority. They've got nothing to do with gays or racial minorities, okay, or ethnic minorities, whatever we want to call them. So they link themselves to them to make themselves look progressive and have political capital. So when feminists inject their intersectional feminism, this is why the right wings piss me off, because they take the bait. So feminists interject their stuff and they use racial minorities and queer minorities. Okay, that's not a derogatory term, by the way. If someone says it is, it's not. It was a term used in the 90s by gay people, so I'm just going to use that because I don't like the term LGBT. So queer minorities, okay, are being used. So they interject this stuff into it, and the feminists, when the right wing nut jobs freak out over it with the false framing, the feminists can go, look, we're fighting against bigotry. Look at these bigots over here. They just don't like gay people or black people, right? And the right wing retards fall for the bait every single time, which is annoying. Okay, so they're actually validating their political strategy, and also intersectional feminism tries to obfuscate its feminism by attaching itself to other movements as well. Okay, so the right wingers are doing them a favour by not pinpointing the real issue. You need to clarify the issue and pinpoint it and go after the feminism, because Star Trek has always been very liberal, right? Okay,
yeah,
so it's very liberal. Okay, it wasn't feminist, or it was too overtly feminist, okay? And the recent Star Trek is very, very, very feminist, okay? It's so, but the conservatives frame it as, oh no, there's liberalism in Star Trek now. No, Star Trek's always been liberal. Don't fight over political battles. If you don't like what's happening in media, there's no point going after the liberals. You have to go after the feminists. You have to boot the feminists out from the start.
Yeah. The same thing with anime, by the way. Anime was always, I mean, there were conservative elements, but there were also many liberal elements as well, always within anime.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So there was, I mean, they have whole genres like Yuri and Yaoi and stuff like that, right?
Yes.
So, and gender bender and stuff like that.
Yes.
So the feminists who then go into these mediums to mess with them, right? They're doing it to ruin the medium.
Yeah, out of spite, because it's also I've read Violence Jack recently, the manga, right? It started in '73 and ended in '78. So this was before even an old fight like me was before I was born, right? Okay, it's got lots of gender bending in it, lots of gender bending, right? It's a mainstream violence action anime. It's like a precursor to Fist of the North Star. It was even before Mad Max. It was post-apocalyptic wasteland, biker gangs, right? Okay. And it's got lots of gender. I think there's like 3 or 4 gender bending characters. Okay. One of the characters is a fighter male with a female face that people mistake for a female. Okay. He's very close friends and he's in love with his male friends and all that. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah,
anime's Japanese culture is far more progressive on queer issues than Western culture. It just always has been.
And also I want to make another point, like in Hunter x Hunter, for example, by Togashi, he puts in like trans characters or at least like femboy characters or something.
Yeah.
Right, or gender bender characters, and the thing is, this is originally part of his story, right? So that's not an issue, right? Nobody has an issue with that, right? but let's say they would, uh, let's say feminists would come in, they would, let's say the feminist studio or some kind of feminist editor would come in, and they all of a sudden they turn the main character gone
Yeah.
into a woman all of a sudden,
Yes.
right?
Sabotage.
That would mess with the originality of the character, because
It's
that was
vandalism.
not part of the story,
It's
right?
vandalism. It's vandalism. That's all it is. It's vandalism.
Yeah,
They mistranslate all the time. They put they put American politics into Japanese stuff, which is not appropriate. Like some anti-Trump statements. I don't like Trump, but I don't want anti-Trump statements in my entertainment in general, and it shouldn't be in Japanese entertainment when that's not the original intent. It's vandalism. Okay, Funimation and
yeah,
Crunchyroll are feminists, by the way. Okay, they're feminist captured. Okay,
yeah,
so and they ban and censor stuff all the fucking time out of spite, all the fucking time. So let's carry on reading this. My story. I first heard about the Whisper Network back in 2016 from folks I knew at Image, DC, Marvel, and later Variant, depending who I chatted with. So this was an open secret in the comics industry. There's probably men being hassled and stalked, not speaking up against this, right, out of fear, right? This should be. If the Shield channels, the Culture War channels were serious, they'd still be talking about this all the time, right? And talking about the people behind this all the time, exposing them over and over again, right? Okay. Sometimes the group was called the Women's Network, and other times the Whisper Network. Occasionally, the Whisper Campaign, and eventually there were more conspiratorial names used mockingly. A friend called them gender swapped 4chan, which became FemChan to some insiders. 4chan didn't stalk people like this, right? 4chan have bullied and harassed people, and they've gone after other ideology. They've gone after Scientology, for example. 4chan's very varied. It can be anything, right? But I've never heard of 4chan going after women for just being women, right? Regardless of the name, it was all the same group. The same 5 or 6 names kept on popping up at the conversation over and over again. At times, ticked on. I know it's a trend on social media, half a decade of rumours, false allegations, cancellation attempts, and it almost traced back to the same 5 or 6 people. The goal of the Whisper Network, according to industry folks, is simple. Choose a target, smear them until they lose their reputation, income, and are ultimately blacklisted, opening up job opportunities for the same people who started their smear campaigns in the first place. This is called torturous interference, by the way. This is completely illegal. It's not just, it's gang stalking and harassment. That's illegal enough, but it's torturous interference. It's completely illegal, right? And then,
yeah,
and the fact they're not getting arrested over this is because they're female. Okay. The Mayor of Christmas. Nah, the writer is a satirist who misfired. Just characters based on a trend like Dazzler, Hypno Hustler, Rocket Racer, Night Trasher, X Status, US1, Razorback. Sometimes they work and sometimes they don't. You just think it's an SJW attack because you've invented enemies. And then this person, Drew, replies, invented enemies, don't tell me. Tell me the Whisper Network that keeps anyone who remotely leans right from working. You see how the right wingers are falsely framing this again with their left versus right obsession. These
yeah,
countless instances of the creators being totally disrespectful to customers. Sorry, SJWs exist even though they're a social construct. So this right-wing idiot doesn't even call them feminists, which obviously are. There's a bunch of females who hate men. They're obviously feminists. It's obvious.
yeah,
Right.
yeah. SJW was basically the proto woke term, right?
Yes.
Before the term woke existed.
Right.
All these coping, DEI, and all of these coping terms. Those are coping terms that to obfuscate the issue. Oh, all right, all right.
Okay. There we go. So, yeah. So, a few years passed, and in 2018, almost everyone interacted with the industry seemed to know about the network. No, behind the scenes, these cancellations are painted as morally or politically motivated. But in the end, it's all financial. That's massive cope, right there, right? Okay,
Yeah,
because
yeah,
it's not. This is not being done to females. It's not feminists doing it to other feminists they don't like. It's being done to men, so it's not financial. It's that's cope. It's not financial. And a lot of these women are in financial. A lot of these women risk sabotaging their own careers over this, right? Eventually, and it sometimes backfires on them, but they still do it. Okay, so this is cope. As
yeah, yeah. People need to understand money is no problem for women. Okay, money is a luxury actually for women. For men, it's a necessity.
Yes.
Okay,
Yes.
because women can survive. That they can get by even without careers,
Yes.
right? They have all sorts of funding sources and all sorts of funding opportunities.
Yes.
Literally, they can make money on the internet,
Yes.
streaming, doing OnlyFans, doing all kinds of things, checking up with a rich guy, right?
Yes.
That's all possible for women easily, right?
And it's nothing to do. And it's nothing to do with it anyway. It's nothing to do with it anyway because at the end of the day, right? If it was financial, they would actually be friendly and network with the men. They wouldn't be hostile to them. Period. Like for example,
Right.
I saw Australians talking about the family court, and they say, "Oh yeah, the family court's got a financial motive," and blah blah. No, it doesn't. You're coping. It's nothing to do with financial motive. It's sadism and misandry. Like the meme go. Joker's willing to burn profits to the ground. Right. That's what it is. So, question: seemed more and more reality. I saw the influence. I saw things I knew to be verifiably untrue go viral online, or feminists spread lies online all the time, appearing what I thought was legit news sources. I felt angry and helpless seeing innocent people get attacked and didn't know what to do. Right. A few years passed, and by 2018, almost everyone I interacted with in the industry seemed to know about the network. So men are actually tiptoeing around this network out of fear, right? Out of fear, right? And if it was a network of men doing this, I honestly believe the men would eventually be beaten up by other men, right? Because the men will go, "Hey, you're going after my job, you're going after my status, you're going after my career, you got me fired from my job." In fact, eventually they'll ruin a man. And eventually the man will go nuts and go after them violently. That's what I think was happening with this group of men doing this Whisper Network, right? But because it's females, men don't do anything, legal or illegal, right? They don't take any legal action, they don't try and sue them, but they don't take any vigilante justice either. If it was a group of men doing this, I think men would lash out violently. Do you agree?
Yeah, definitely.
Yes.
They lash out violently against men for less than such things.
A few years passed in 2018, almost everyone interacting with the industry seemed to know about the network, from the top level editors right down to the letterers. And it was an open secret where no one was willing to speak up for fear of being targeted themselves. They knew the consequences. Okay, what did we learn about 2018 comic industry this week? There's a Whisper network, but it only exists to out and blacklist creators friendly to Comicsgate. So again, they're obfuscating the issue again. They're out to blacklist men. Got a book in America, you're gone. No, got a book in Vertigo and commit sexual assault. Let's not jump to conclusions. I don't know what point he's making. Right, he's probably talking about a male feminist falsely accused of sexual assault. The severity of the crime is judged by who is reporting it. Tress Fowler gets hit on by Brian Wood. Massive industry scandal reported by all comics media. Equivocal victim comes forward about his abuse. Industry silence. No, equivocal. GG reports on it and is accused of sensationalism. Okay. So Gamergate is engaging in rumour spreading as well. What they're doing, feminists smear a man and they go, no, look at this liberal man. Look at him, he's just as problematic. They're doing whatsaboutism for some weird reason when it's not... Either that guy Gamergate's talking about is guilty or not guilty, right? If he's Melanie's guilty, he'll be convicted, in my opinion. I'm just begging that people pay attention to who's listening to and who's supporting survivors and who's building their brand. Okay, so the Gamergate narrative is very confused, right? That's why it failed in the past. And Comicsgate, that's not Gamergate, it's Comicsgate, it's Comicsgate. And after all, this was a secret network without proof. There was no point in going public because members would just deny its existence. And the media connections to smear anyone who challenged them. They'll gatekeep, right? They'll protect the niche in the community and go after male outsiders. Then things got interesting. December 16th, 2018, Whisper Network member Gail Simonar, who joined the network 6 years ago, 4 years before the following tweet was posted, mocks doofuses who speculate that a Whisper campaign exists. So again, the people in the part of the conspiracy mock the idea of the conspiracy. It's gaslighting. It's blatant disinformation. Yes. By the way, eventually they moved the goalpost to the Whisper Network does exist, but it's a good thing because it only goes after creeps, right? That was the goalpost moving they did eventually. So that's a narcissist's prayer right there. No, we didn't do it to you.
Yeah.
Yes, we did do it to you, but you deserved it, right? Yes, it's part of our Whisper. Girl Simon. Yes, it's part of our Whisper campaign according to doofuses. Girl, you replied to my 4 tweets 4 times this year. Does that make us best buds? Okay, that's some sort of weird sarcasm they like to do. Right. Let go. Here's another tweet. Which girl makes a list of fake things in the Whisper campaign is disgusting and attempts to laugh away the notion. Today's Whisper campaign top picks: the good Ben Stiller movie, covering up for bad smells at cons, comic page glue, fact or myth. They're just lame sarcasm. The gaslighting. Look, 28 likes is nothing, by the way. So they've got punch and weight way beyond their followers, right? Okay.
Yeah.
Because again, it's like I said earlier on, like, coordination is a force multiplier. It's a force multiplier in military. It's a force multiplier in politics, and it's a force multiplier in social groups. So, the Comics Network, the Whisper Network, is a tightly coordinated group of females who network and who punch above their weight because they're coordinated and they're ruthless and they're cunning.
Yeah, that has been shown throughout history that a small dedicated group that is radical and coordinated can move mountains, like
Yes.
can move the masses, because the masses are usually passive
Yes.
and want to be led to some extent,
Yes.
right?
Yes. And Comicsgate is very passive, and they're denial and delusional. They're not prepared to call out what their enemy truly is, basically out of fear. They're like cattle, basically. At this point in late 2018, I was still sceptical at the Whisper Network's existence. I heard many stories of individuals spreading rumours and lies, and plenty of malicious behaviour going on beyond the scene's closed doors. Though I wasn't ready to believe it was all coordinated effort or collusion involved, then certain people began openly mentioning the Whisper Network, and my attitude changed. March 2019. So this is around the birth of the Promo Collective time, to put it into historical context. Oh, it's the birth of the blog. The blog was created around this time. It was around for like a couple. It was around before then, right? Quite a few years before that, but that's when the blog started. Heather Antros, a member herself, did not outright mention the Whisper Network or involvement, but she made what took some as a veiled threat to those who got on a bad side. Pro tip: industries are small. People talk. Don't be a dick, and that's a gendered slur as well, right? It's not don't be an arsehole. Don't be a dick. That's a threat, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. It's social dominance on public display, basically.
Yes, and it's threatening status rape on men. Men who lose their jobs can end up committing suicide. That's why I call it status rape. Heather Milkshake Girl Antros, couple black story at Marvel and later Valiant, is notorious in the comic industry. A conversation about office rumours spreading and bullying is never complete without someone bringing up juicer Antonis antidotes. Everyone has one. Up until then, I actually haven't seen actual proof of a larger scheme, but then something changed in 2020. January 2020, Alex D. Campy, who I will discover is one of the most active Whisper Network members, openly admits there is a network. I have no idea if that was a slip-up or a brazen attempt to show off her power and influence, but this appeared. Now, before I read this, I'm going to mention something. This is actually a very, very common pattern with feminists as well. This has been going on. You can point to this pattern of behaviour way back to the 70s and 60s. It probably goes on a long way before that as well. There's probably countless examples. So feminists are more covert, right? And as they get away with more and more, they become more overt, right? Okay?
Yeah.
So, this happens all the time. So this is what's happening here. He's been verboten on the Whisper Network for years. Time to stop whispering and time to start shouting. So basically they're admitting they're cancelling someone on the Whisper Network and it's time to start shouting, right? Again, the narcissist's prayer. We didn't do it to you deserved it, okay? Right? It's a bit like that guy City Crusher replied to. Like that guy who says, oh yeah, we're only going to call you an incel, right? Because you are an incel. If you object to being called an incel, you've done something to deserve it. If you object to being stalked by the Whisper Network and harassed and cancelled, you did something to deserve it. Okay?
Yeah. The feminists, they always first they deny male oppression.
Yes.
Right? They say, oh, the men, they are not oppressed. They don't have any issues. Right?
Yes.
then when you actually show overwhelming evidence that men are oppressed, then they try to rationalize it and justify it and say, oh yeah, but they brought it upon themselves,
Yes.
and patriarchy hurts men too, and all this other bullshit,
Yes.
right? So first they deny it, and then they try to justify it. That's
Yes.
a common tactic.
Yes. So let's do a bit more, then we'll stop because we won't do the whole article because it's quite big. June 6th, I'm probably going to do a video on this whole article anyway, and there's other Whisper Network articles I'm going to do as well. June 16th, 2020, another key member of the same group, Stephanie Koch, some who DeCampi often praises, converses with, and trades retweets with their networking, makes mention of the same group again without naming it directly. Koch references driving shitty people out the industry, driving men out the industry, which is what that's gang stalking, by the way, right? Which is what Facebook group has been working on in private for years. This is the most direct admission of the group's mission statement I had ever seen in public. I expect it will be deleted shortly. I think this article came out in 2020, right? Whisper networks are not enough. They only protect people who in the know enough to talk about people with insider knowledge. We need to do better at driving shitty people outside of the industry. So this is a call to attack men in the industry, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
So they use gender neutral language very often, but we know that they're talking about men.
Yeah, yeah. Eventually, everything I heard and read was confirmed beyond any shadow of doubt. I gained access to their private female Facebook group. Now, this is one of the few examples of a female doing something for men, right? Okay, this is very rare.
Yeah.
I actually praise this woman for doing this. She's actually helped us. Now, the problem is this is not the first time something like this has happened. Do you know about the Agent Orange leaks from like 2012?
No.
Okay, that's the problem. Agent Orange got inside online feminist groups and exposed their screen caps, and it was all over A Voice for Men.
Oh yeah, yeah. Oh
Yeah.
yeah. I remember that now. Yeah,
Yes, but it's forgotten about though. It's memory hold, right? Okay, it's memory hold. Yes. So it's basically radical feminists saying the most extreme shit about men, like murdering them, genociding them, stuff like that, calling men rapists and pigs. I was inside the Whisper Network. This is a place where the Whisper Network has been colluding for years, and although the activity is not confined to just this site, from what I can tell, this is where they first met and started their coordinated campaigns. Yeah. So, comic book women.
Yeah, and also on the also by the way, the Agent Orange stuff.
Yeah.
Those weren't just like Reddit or Tumblr feminists or whatever. Those were actually very influential people on there, right?
Yes.
We're talking about like very powerful people.
Yes. So comic book women, these women don't care about comic books, by the way, right? So they got 400. I'd love to have a group with this many members, right, on Facebook. Can you imagine what we could do? We'll get banned though. This group's probably still about, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Unless you remember, this will not show up in a search. Secret Facebook groups offer the same level of privacy as closed group, but operate under a cloak of invisibility. No one can search for secret groups or even request to join them. The only way to get into one is to know someone who can invite you. Everyone shared in a secret group is visible only to its members. Comic book women. I wonder if this is still about. If it's still about, it'll be bigger than ever. Zoe Quinn. I know who she is. Yeah? And look, some of these women are very attractive looking, right? Right, keep on going. Yeah. Admin, yeah. Yeah, I've already... Several key members of the group are women who work in the comics media and can be used to run damage control, including women like Hedy McDonald of Comics Beat. They have contacts outside of the secret network as well, and some male allies in both comics and the media. So they got male quislings, basically snivelling quislings willing to do their work. Now I think we don't need to look at this anymore, right? Because I want to cover this in more detail myself on a video, and I think you should as well.
Yeah. Also,
because
I want to do a video on this as well.
Because this is not just about the comic book industry, right? This is actually the modus operandi that they use everywhere. Everywhere. Okay?
Yeah.
That's the point about making
even there's even an article in Politico
Yeah.
which describes that there's even a secret sisterhood in the CIA.
Yes.
Basically, feminist networks within the CIA.
Yes.
Right? No, no shit. I did a video on this.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
So even in like powerful intelligence agencies, they have feminist networks
Yes.
inside them.
Yes. Well, feminism is imperialism. Imperialism is feminism, right?
Yeah.
Circular logic isn't always wrong, by the way. Like feminism is hate, hate is feminism, or feminism is capitalism, capitalism is feminism. They're one and the same, right? So yeah, we need to learn from this. I'd love we need men need coordinated groups like this, right? Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So
Desperately.
this is war, by the way. This is not a war we started. This is not a war we declared. This was declared upon us as men. Yeah, this is gang stalking and harassment of male comic men. Gain state. There's going to be comfortable men who've got status, who are artistic, creative. They entertain plenty of people, right? They're a net good to society, so they deserve their status, right? Okay,
Yeah.
and these women are going after them to destroy them out of spite. And the comic, I might have to do a video on modern Marvel comics, right, to compare them to older comics because they're absolute fucking trash now. They're fucking garbage, absolute fucking garbage.
Yeah.
Yeah,
The the anime industry is headed that way as well.
yeah. Well, you know what the Copers said. Japan will never bow down to the woke. Do you remember that 4 years ago? Yeah,
Yeah.
I said nope, nope. They're gonna get you. They're gonna get you. They're gonna get you. This is the thing is, and this is passive, regressive, avoidant nonsense. Men have got to stop doing it. The thing is, our our narrative should be not one more inch, not one single inch. They do not get anything. Give them nothing on principle alone. They hate us as men. They're man haters. They get nothing. Concede nothing, and if we can, take everything from them. We want to be in the. We want to be driving them out of work, right? We want them to be unemployed. Yeah, not us as men. So I've
They
said it.
do stuff like that in South Korea actually.
Yes, yes, you're right about that. They've gotten feminists fired, which is brilliant. Which is brilliant. Brilliant.
Yeah, even Western mainstream media says that feminism is a bad word in South Korea.
Yes,
That is the level that we need to reach. That is how we need to approach things.
yes. And
Feminist
not a joke.
feminism needs to become.
Not a joke. A bad
Hmm?
word. A hate move. Because in the past, men were much more derogatory towards feminists. Not derogatory, mocking. Right? Feminists were a joke. They were considered like a harmless weirdo joke full of weak, stupid women. Right? And look where that got us. It ended up getting dominated. We have to take It's got to be a dirty word that's taken seriously. Right? It's got to have a real strong stigma attached to it, like biker
Yeah.
gangs or
Yeah.
KKK or Nazi members. So, have you got anything else to say before I wrap this up?
No, I think that I think we covered everything that we needed to cover. Um, yeah, the pro-Mac collective is rising. Okay, we are learning, we are accumulating
Yes.
new members. Um, contribute. If you feel inspired by this, contribute to make videos, blog posts,
Report
Reddit posts.
report hate speech as well by feminists, right? Stuff like that.
Yeah,
So anyway, over
yeah.
and out for now.